Hello, welcome back to Shadowrun. Let's play Shadowrun Dragonfall. We are going to watch the last DVD. Timestamp is 2050, April 28th. This is it, the interview. Took some digging to find it, but here he is. My big brother back in his prime. The note disappears. For a moment, the screen goes blank. Suddenly, the image of a news correspondent flashes onto the screen, accompanied by a brief orchestral flourish. Timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen reveals the date, April 22nd, 2012. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live from the ruins of Sengerhausen, the fifth Haas mountain town to be sacked by the dragon Fairschwing. Standing by my side is the head of Deal Defense, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Dr. Vauclair has been hailed as a leader in the effort to bring down Fairschwing and into her reign of terror. Dr. Vauclair, can you tell us about your efforts to bring down the dragon? Killing the monster has proven difficult to say the least. Her speed and maneuverability in the air are extraordinary. Her scales repel small arms fire, and her breath can melt steel. Our R&D teams have been working around the clock to devise a weapon capable of downing the beast. In the interim, we are providing material support for the Luftwaffe's attempts to shoot her down via conventional means. Herr Vauclair, why are you directing Deal Defense's energies to the killing of Fairschwing? Are there corporate interests at play in this? Corporate interests? No, this is a matter of human interest. Innocent lives are being extinguished at an appalling rate. I'm in a position to help put an end to the slaughter, so I must. It really is that simple. Dr. Vauclair, you must understand my skepticism. Our viewers aren't looking for a PR statement. They come to us for the truth. I'm afraid that I don't have time to go back and forth on this. Your viewers can think whatever they wish. My concern is helping the people affected by this tragedy. In that case, Dr. Vauclair, I thank you for sharing your valuable time with us. You're very welcome. I'm overdoing it. You're very welcome. To the viewers at home, stay safe and watch the skies. Salvation is coming, I promise. Again, that was Dr. Adrian Vauclair, CEO of Deal Defense. Dr. Vauclair is the chief architect of military's current plan to bring down the dragon Fairschwing. Stay tuned for more late-breaking news on the battle for the Haas Mountains. We'll be right back. Track 2, 541117. Back to Haggard Green Winters. Holy shit, I just stumbled onto some of Adrian's old lab notes. I'm not going to say how I came across these. Someone might get hurt if the wrong people watch this. But I've checked them against some of Adrian's old handwriting samples, and they're legitimate. Holy shit, this is big. All right. Okay, back up. Slow down. Breathe. Okay, so these notes, they pretty much confirm something that I've always suspected. The Luftwaffe didn't shoot down Fairschwing. I mean, they tried. They pumped thousands of rounds into the air around her. They lobbed rockets at her for months, lost a lot of attack helicopters and fighter craft in the process. But none of those things were responsible for taking her down. The Dragonfall was caused by an experimental warhead, one that Adrian and his Deal Defense think tank designed. I don't understand the science of it, not even a little bit. But from what I can piece together, it looks like they designed some sort of chemical radiological agent that acts on the metagene. I don't think they fully understand what they were doing. It was 2012. After all, I mean, the process worked, but I don't know if they understand why it worked. Anyway, when a warhead full of this stuff comes into contact with a dual-natured creature like a dragon, say, it drives a wedge between the creature's physical and astral forms. The body gets put into a sort of hibernation state, and the spirit is forced out. It also looks like this process can maintain that state of separation indefinitely, and that's a pretty horrifying thought. This corporated body's supposed to die in a few hours. I've heard horror stories about ghost-walking mages getting trapped in astral space, unable to rejoin with their meat. I heard they went crazy from the pain. If what I'm reading is accurate, it's entirely possible that Fairschwing has been trapped outside her body for over 40 years. Winter pushes his chair back and slaps the table in front of him. This is why Adrian was always so cagey about the subject of Fairschwing after Dragonfall. He knew for a fact that she was alive, even if only technically. Her body crashed down the SOX, sure, but she wasn't dead. The government wouldn't let Adrian tell the public about any of this, of course. It'd interfere with the lie that they were feeding us, and that the Firewing was dead, and that everyone was safe, and that people should stop hiding in their basements and get back to work again. But privately, he always said that she was still out there, somewhere deep in the SOX. I'd always knew that he was paranoid, but I was wrong. He knew. So what does all this mean? It means that the stories I got from that ghost threat suddenly sound a lot more plausible. It means that Fairschwing is definitely alive and that Adrian's disappearance is unquestionably tied to her survival. It also means that Germany is in deep shit because Fairschwing is still alive. It's only a matter of time before she rears her ugly head again. Okay, that's enough for one night. I'm going to go get drunk. Lovely. DVD prayer ramps up 2033, May 15th. Look, Adrian, I understand you. Lord knows I do. But you've got to drop this dragon fixation. People are starting to talk. There is a camera cut, and you find yourself looking at a young, handsome Dr. Adrian Montclair. He wears a slight smile on his face. Oh, they're talking, are they? What a terrible shame. Damn it, Adrian, this is serious. You're a public figure. You could lose everything if you don't keep these ridiculous fairy tales to yourself. I mean, my theories are not, as you call them, fairy tales. Dragons are real. I saved Germany from one. Have you forgotten? No, of course not. Everyone knows you killed the Firewing. Stopped, not killed. Fine, stopped, whatever. Winters swipes the bottle off the table in front of him, drains it, and drops it to the floor. Call it whatever you want, but Adrian, you're the only one who's still obsessed with the damned things. There aren't that many of them, and they're not taking over the world. Such is the cry of the cancer patient unaware of what's killing him. I'm fine, not to worry. I'll smoke another cigarette. What's the harm? He doesn't see what's happening, but he winds up dead all the same. Now you're just being maudlin. Look, Adrian. You mark my words, Hermie. Within 5 years, corporations, even countries, will fall to these creatures, and the worst part is nobody will care. Oh, people will tut-tut about it. There may be a protest or two, but nobody will actually do anything to stop them. The immortal, all-powerful, utterly pitiless reptiles will seize more and more of our power, wealth, and territory, and we foolish, short-sighted mortals will never get it back. Gary Winters chuckles uncomfortably, raises his hands in the air, supplicating gesture. Come now, Adrian. We couldn't solve the problem, of course, but we as a species are unwilling to invest our energy into problems that aren't staring us right in the face. As it was with climate change, so it is with dragons. I've accepted that. But you can't ask me to start caring about it. You're hopeless, Adrian. Fine. By all means, keep caring. Just keep your conspiracy theories to yourself. I'm telling you for your own sake. Yes, Hermie, you're right. Of course, I mustn't just jeopardize my credibility with the masses. It's not just your credibility that I'm worried about. Talk is talk, but sometimes I worry that you're really going to go back into the SOX. Hermie, Please, big brother, just drop all this, stop hunting the Firewing, and start living your life again. If you won't do it for yourself, then for Christ's sake, do it for me. All right, Hermie, I'll try. Last one. Rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds to its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. User, Jolly Green Winters. Interesting. Last active, January 15th, 54. Meet and mate singles dating profile. I'm a fun-loving guy who's also a great listener. I love hiking, clubbing, all kinds of pets. I'm looking for a cute, funny, adventurous girl who's down to party. I don't respond to profiles without pics. No orcs, no trolls. Sorry, ladies. Interesting. That's the meet and mate thing again. Okay. Now, thing to be aware of. I have enough money to get that headwear I was thinking about. And maybe something else. I need cyberware. Okay. I could get the Encephalon next. Or I get the Cerebral Booster. It's not as much... Toxin Exhaler I don't want. It's not as high essence cost. It's the same essence cost of what's already there. It's cheaper, but it also does not give me as much of an intelligence boost. This is the one I spent money for already. I'll go with the booster. There we go. What about body? Armor, healing factor, basically. Bone lacing. Target tailored pheromones. I think I will throw in the tailored pheromones. Right arm. I don't really need that. What about right leg? What about the leg? +1 dodge, +1 quickness, enhanced articulation. Eyes? Could get this. It would be most of my money. So I am going to avoid that. I'm going to skip what I got here. Cancel. But I think laser designator. Confirm. Need medical supplies. One of these. One of these. One of these. There we go. Cool. And we did not get any more karma for that, so... Okay, 13. This goes up. This goes up. There we go. Actually, save. Let's look at my stats. My range combat is 4. Don't really have enough to get a credible improvement to my guns. Done, done. U-Bond to OTQ. OTK. I am not dealing with the best of situations. I think there's some stuff I can sell. I need some tech, and I've got a tight schedule. Show me what you've got. Let's see. Ooh. Yes. Yes. I'll take that. Ooh. I'll also take that. Medic level 2, I'll take that. Oh, this is getting expensive. Think Okay, now let's look at the cell stuff. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Do I want to sell that? Yeah, I'm going to sell the grenades. Okay. So. Confirm. Confirm. Okay. Save. Save. I should probably ask, what's her name about her team? I haven't been pressing. And I'm going to, I don't want to start a new run just yet. Until I clear some space on my hard drive. Nothing right now. Are you ready to tell me about the chrome you're sporting? Be patient, Ebbs. The explanation for that is coming. I'm not sure you're going to like it, though. You too, Glory. How are things with you? You know what? I'm happy, actually, for the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. You needed time, and I gave you time. Are you ready to talk about Fairstelle yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled, more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memory she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. But Evs, look, I'm going to tell you some things about myself that it might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that. If that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. So tell me, are you sure you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Gloria. After everything you've been through, I think that we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, whatevs. Thanks for being a friend. So, when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm and inviting confines of Fairstelle. Maud and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a peer level. Best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, with a neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair. There was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw, magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough we were. For a girl of 17, it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us about how Fairstelle would be the local point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fist or my childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said it came from the Horned God, an ancient deity that he venerated. Ooh dear. He knew about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I've heard of the Horned God. His followers have a poor reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputation they might have gained is well deserved, but there is more to it than that, as you'll see. Hang with me, whatevs. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with this horned god, and through it I learned power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived at Fierstell as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls in the commune, including my beloved Mata. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weights were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's horned god was not the icon first worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? Educate me. Satan, Lucifer, Old Scratch. In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary. Whatever you choose to call it, it's every bit as bad as it sounds. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I can count. At this point, I was on to all of his tricks. I knew that Fierstell was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit, and I knew through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame out for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritter might have helped play into my willingness to serve. Might have helped play. Sorry about that, there was a disconnection there. Would have liked to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritters might have helped to play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, so the opposite of that, I figured, had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. Oh, did it freeze? It froze. Ah. Lovely. Okay, so trying to finish this. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I can't excuse your choices you made, but I can understand why you made them. Disagree with you. No, that she wouldn't buy that. That's big of you, whatevs. I genuinely mean that. Lori takes a moment to steel herself and continues on. Anyway, one day, Harrow invited me to a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Fürstell, the commune has easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to lure in the street kids and that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Kreuzritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I round up at my old folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel the torrent of flames welling up the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course, the person who opened the door wasn't my father, it was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream and I broke into hysterics. I heard the adversary laugh. At that point, I realized that it was laughing at me. I'm so sorry, Glory. Thanks, we're almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever had been pulled. All at once, the bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant at the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do, so I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Fearstell. I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all the commune's resources, and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done, or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers. The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that is tied to your own soul? Oh God, Glory. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office. The first street dog I could pointed at all the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me I'd be shredding my essence and that once it was gone, I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, but the aura of loss around her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, whatevs. You've heard the tale. You know why I am the way I am. You know the things I've done and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. Oh, good grief. Oh, she was moving. There we go. That is a hell of a backstory. Okay, see you later. I'm gonna save and exit.